Hi, everyone. I think I'm going to go ahead and kick off the meeting. For those of you I don't know, my name is Emily Liggett, and I have the pleasure of being the chair of the Middle School Council this year. And Caroline Dimitri is my wonderful vice chair. So on behalf of the Middle School Council, welcome to a very interesting but new school year. We have a lot of new families this year, some of whom I've met. So welcome to all the new families out there. I'm looking forward to meeting those of you who I haven't met yet. And probably most importantly, on behalf of the parents, thank you so much to the faculty and the administrators. All of the hard work you guys have been doing all summer in the spring of last year and into this school year is really coming through. It's been a shockingly easy start to a very weird school year. And on behalf of the parents, we're all so appreciative. Your enthusiasm and your energy came across on Zooms from back to school night, and I admire your ability to do that. I think we all have a little bit of Zoom fatigue, and you guys somehow make it really interesting. So thank you, teachers, faculty, administration. So tonight I'm gonna let our administration speak a little bit first and give their updates. And then I will follow up with the Middle School Council committee reports. And I'm gonna let Tom finish up with middle school specific items. So with that, I'm gonna hand it over to Roy to give us an update on the reopening plan from the superintendent's office, as well as any facilities updates that you may have. Thanks.
Great, thanks, Emily, and thanks for that introduction. I feel a little pressure now, though, to make Zoom interesting all of a sudden. I didn't know how to do that, but we'll do our best. But thank you. And for those of you who were on the all PTA meeting last night, I'm sorry if I'm repeating myself, but I just want to first start by saying thank you to the parents for your support and for your patience as we've kind of had to figure some of these things out in this new normal of schooling that we have. It's been a pretty wild ride, but I have to say that I'm really pleased with the effort on behalf of the staff and the administrators coming together and really working very hard for a long time and trying to get things set up, because there's nothing more rewarding for us than have your children in school with us. So thank you for your patience as we kind of move forward in this. And I was thinking today, while it may seem like we've been doing this for a long time, this is day 12, actually, of our in-person school. And, you know, we've learned a lot since the beginning of the year, since last spring, about what we're capable of and about the technologies that we're using. And our knowledge increases every day. And I do think we're going to get better at it every day. So we know it's not perfect. We know there are things that we have to improve upon. But you know, we're off to a pretty good start. We hope it continues. You know, it's a fragile situation. There are some of my colleagues have had to shut down school because of various positive cases that have arisen. So we just ask for your continued vigilance in helping us, not only reinforcing the social distancing and mask wearing with your children, but also on the weekends and in the evenings, because I know it's difficult for them. Oftentimes they just want to be set free and be with their friends, and I get that, but it's something we're all going to have to work together on in order to stay open as a district. I do want to remind you that, or if you didn't know, I want to let you know that on November 3rd, which is election day, we are going to have a full remote learning day for everyone on that day. The state has come in, the county has come in and designated our school as a polling location. We really don't have much of a choice in that matter. And rather than risk and expose our children and staff to potential outsiders coming in to vote, we think the best course of action is to go fully remote for everyone on that day. It's confined to just the gymnasium for voting. So we feel pretty confident we can get it all cleaned up and everything for the next day. But we just think it's the safest move to be out of school that day. And, it'll give us another round of practice for in the event, hopefully not, but in the event we have to go fully remote. Interesting enough, the state this year has also potentially, although there's still some guidance coming out on potentially given school districts the option of going fully remote on what used to be our snow days, if you will. And it's something we're looking at very carefully because in a lot of ways, it does make sense. It allows us to not have to close and get us to count the instructional day without closing everything off. We know that a number of our staff members do live far away. So while we can get the kids there who walk pretty easily on an inclement day, it's more challenging for staff members to get there. So we're going to monitor that pretty closely. It does, again, give us the ability to count the day as an instructional day, which may help us in the long run should we have to shut down or something else happen where we have to recapture days somewhere. So just keep that in mind. We don't have any more information than that, but just keep that in mind moving forward. In terms of the facilities, things are coming along quite nicely. Middle school students are using the cafeteria. It's really a gorgeous space. We have a new learning commons in the upstairs third floor area that the high school students have been using. Our innovation center, which shout out to the foundation for supporting us on that, will be open for students on Monday. That gives us another learning space, which we desperately need. And there's been a lot of new ventilation, air conditioning in the building, things like that are continuing to come online for us. The workers are still working on the new guidance suite and the high school entrance, the new atrium area. We don't expect that to be done. I would say probably in early December is what we're looking at for that. But again, that gives us some additional spaces as well. So it's coming along. And I have to say, overall, we're very pleased with the work that's been done. The new health office is really, really very nice. And it was fortuitous that we were able to put that in, especially during this time of year, with with COVID and flu season and everything else, because we have a number of exam rooms that are in the new health suite and an isolation area as well. So it was really nice for us to be able to get that done before the opening of school. So nothing much more than that's going on, although there's a lot going on. And we continue to press on with you, and we appreciate the cooperation, your patience and support. And please, a number of you have continued to reach out to me with thoughts and ideas and suggestions. And by all means, please continue to do so. We're new at this pandemic thing as well, and there may be things that you suggest to us that we just haven't thought of yet. A number of things that we have thought of that you asked about why we can't do it, and we are considering some where we can, but there's a lot of moving parts, as you can imagine. Again, we appreciate your support, and I want to thank again Emily and the Executive Council and members people who volunteer their time as PTA members to help us out, and most importantly, to help our kids out. So thanks, and enjoy the meeting.
Thanks so much, Roy. I think I saw Jen Lescott here, who's going to speak on behalf of the foundation.
Yeah, hi, Emily. Thanks, Emily, for that. And thanks to Roy and all of the staff and administration who've been working so hard to get our kids and keep our kids in school. Really appreciative. I'm here, as Emily said, to just give a quick update on the foundation. For those of you who might be newer to the school, I'll give a quick overview of what we are and then give an update. The foundation is a 30-member board that represents all the schools as well as empty nesters, alumni, et cetera. And we oversee grants that are given each year to help the school. The mission of the foundation is to enhance the quality of the education in the community by engaging the support and energy of educators, citizens, parents, students, and alumni. We do that by administrating a grant cycle every year. The typical grant cycle The deadline is March 1st, so if you have an idea for a grant, grants can be brought by really anyone, teachers, administrators, but we also get requests from students, parents, and others. To date, the foundation has been around for about 30 years now, and we've made 785 grants, totaling more than $11 million, and they've touched every aspect of the school. So it's a really great way to help bring funds to things that the school budget doesn't allow for. This summer, we actually did a few off-cycle grants as we were faced with opening in the pandemic. We worked closely with the administration to understand what some needs might be, and 2 off-cycle grants were funded. Pure Zone antiviral coatings for high-use surfaces. You might have seen that come through. This is a coating that goes on to surfaces and helps to make sure that the COVID virus, or the COVID virus, but other viruses as well, can't live on those surfaces. So that was a great thing to work together on. And then we also funded some Zoom classroom setups and home use packages for teachers. So that makes the virtual learning now and in the future easier and hopefully more effective. In terms of our annual campaign, it's launching in October. This is how we get the funds to make those grants. So you'll be hearing from the foundation, and we hope you'll consider participating this year. More than ever, I think we'll have a lot of needs we need to consider in funding. And if you have any questions, there's a lot of information on the Bronxville Foundation website as well.
Thanks, Jen. Appreciate it. Next, we have our new athletic director, Joe Haven. Welcome to Bronxville, Joe. I know you've had a very busy fall so far, and you have quite a few updates for us.
Yes, we do. Thank you. Great. It's been great meeting a lot of new people. Great introduction. Everybody's been very supportive, so I really enjoyed it so far. But obviously, the main goal of the athletic department is to have the student athletes participating. As you know, as middle school parents, Section 1 last week decided that for the fall season, they would postpone the fall modified sports, which encompasses 7th and 8th graders. They would now begin on March 1st. As varsity football is beginning March 1st, but also all modified fall sports will begin on March 1st. So the season's just been postponed. We had a plan for this. We were ready to go, and with support of our school board and administration, we were prepared to offer an intramural program for 7th and 8th grade students only. And what we're going to do is we're going to attack it in a couple ways. The first thing we're going to offer is sport-specific intramurals. So the 5 sports that we're offering for the fall are field hockey, boys and girls soccer, and then boys and girls cross country. We're also going to offer a modified football intramural program. So these will be instructed by mostly our certified coaches. A few staff members may also help out. You'll be receiving an email tomorrow with all the information on it. We just had to make sure we had all the coaches in place before we sent the email. This program will take place during the month of October. It's going to begin on Monday the 5th, and we're going to go right through until October 30th, which is a Friday. So each sport will meet twice a week for 1 hour, right after school, 3:15 to 4:15, right on Hayes Field. Any student is able to do this as long as they have an active physical and they can participate in physical education classes. They can take part in the athletic program that we're offering, the intramural program. So what we're going to do is, just to get a quick rundown, on Mondays and Thursdays, we're offering football and field hockey. And then on Tuesdays and Fridays, we're offering boys soccer, girls soccer, and cross country. And one extra thing we're doing is on Wednesdays, we're going to offer what's called Phys Ed Games. Basically, those will be non-sport specific activities offered to any student in the school who like to come out just participate. They may do some tag games. They may be doing some frisbee golf, just different ideas that are more related to non-sports specific activities. And like I said, we have certified teachers, and then our coaching staff will also be instructing these items. Your children do not need to sign up. They just need to show up. We are really hoping that they come, and once they start participating, they stay with it, because they're going to meet 8 times during the season. One thing we're excited about is we're one of the few schools offering this. And with that offer, it is going to help our children when it comes time for that March 1st season. They should be a little bit ahead. But our goal is get your children out doing something athletically and start working them cardiovascularly, because many students have not done anything since school ended. So we're very excited about this opportunity for the kids. And the way we set the schedule up is students can try everything. So on Monday, a female student may decide they want to try field hockey, and then on Tuesday, that same person can go and try soccer. Now, we know traditionally they're playing the same season, but they can do both. So really, students can come 5 days after school if they would like, Monday through Friday. And like I said, Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays, those are sports-specific activities. And then on Wednesday, it's just Phys Ed Games. Just get the kids outside, getting them exercise, getting them moving. And all we're asking for is that the students still have to follow the exact same rules that our student athletes are following. Social distancing. While they're on campus and while they're outside, they do have to practice and participate in masks, just like the student athletes have to. And our goal really is for the student athletes to be able to see, when my season starts in March, boy, I got a head start on this. I did some conditioning. I've met the coaches. I've seen some work they wanted us to do, but also they've built some skill. And our main goal is we're hoping to have fun, so we can have 75% of the kids participate after school during the March 1st season. Right now, our participation is outstanding at the high school level, and high school sports are built by your modified sports. So we're really hoping that we'll get a lot of children out there participating. A few very important pieces of information. Locker rooms are not available, just like they're not for the athletes. So the students, if they have to change, will change in the bathroom one at a time. They will meet right at Hayes Field or out the back of the school. And also, they are responsible to bring their own water. We're not at a point right now where we're sharing, big 5-gallon buckets of water with student athletes or the students. So they need to bring their own water just like they would for school. There's a lot more information that will be emailed out to you tomorrow. Probably by noon, we'll send the email out tomorrow so the parents can see what we're offering. But looking for a great program. I will say this: we will keep an eye on the weather. If we're coming for a terrible weather day, we'll probably cancel for that day, but that would be something that we would email all the parents out that day's activities are being canceled, and we'll put it on the website also. And I look forward to meeting all you very soon. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Joe. I have one question from the chat. Have you considered allowing 6th graders to participate?
No, actually, we're following the guidelines set forth by the state association. And the State Athletic Association middle school sports start in 7th grade. And that's the same way we're following that. And that will prepare those athletes for when it does come time for their fall. They're calling it the fall 2 season. So they'll be prepared for that fall 2 season on March 1st. But that's why it's 7th, 8th grade only. Okay.
Thank you. As a parent, that really excites me. So thank you for putting together this program. It's awesome. Next, we have 2 members from our guidance department, Jim Mcnello and Lisa DeSanto, just to introduce parents to who they are and what they do. Sometimes it seems like they may be a little bit behind the scenes, but they are a key element of our children's middle school experience. So I'm going to pass the floor over to them.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Jim Mcnello. I'm one of the counselors. It is really awesome to be back in the building with the students. Lisa and I have been doing this a very long time, 23 years for me. And I've never been so excited to start September, to have the kids back in class. It's really been awesome. They have been fantastic about wearing their masks, about social distancing. But at the same time, we still see how challenging this is, particularly for 6th graders, the adjustment to middle school and lots of changes. For the 7th and 8th graders, they came back to a school that didn't really look a whole lot like it did when they left last March 13th. So it's really been a transition year for every middle school student, or every student in the building, actually. So we're very cognizant of that. We're working very hard to stay on top of the health and well-being, is obviously our paramount purpose in the school. But along with that, we teach students about advocacy skills. We work as an advocate on their behalf between parents and teachers. And we're always very glad to answer questions, be involved. The only thing we can't really get, kind of down into the dirt with is if you have a question that's very curriculum specific, that needs to go to the teacher first, obviously. But anything aside from that, we're more than glad to set up a time to talk with you, meet with your student. You can always email us and set that up. We're more than glad to do that, or to call into our office. We also serve as advisors in the advisory program. Hopefully you are all able to make back to school night and start off your night with your student's advisor. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about that, but we participate in that as well. We meet every week with each grade level of teachers. So once a week with 6th grade, once a week with 7th grade, once a week with 8th grade. And that really keeps us tuned into where students are, what teachers are observing, anything they see that's, can't wait till the next meeting. Obviously, they're going to reach out to us right away. We work very closely with Tom Wilson and Jillian Tomlin, our school psychologist. We meet with them on a regular basis as well, and review anything that might be challenging in a global sense or in an individual student situation. So we're really very happy to meet with you, as I said, and to get to know your students. I'm going to turn you over now to Lisa. She's going to talk a little bit about what programs and things she does.
Okay, I was on mute.
Okay.
So I'm going to start all over again. I am Lisa DeSanto, the middle school guidance counselor. I've been a guidance counselor at Bronxville for 20 years. In addition to everything that Jim mentioned, I also teach a guidance seminar exploratory class to 7th graders. I eventually will teach all the 7th graders. The purpose of this class is to provide skills and strategies to promote a healthy well-being. Middle school can be a very tricky time for students, both socially and emotionally, but I love working with them because in middle school, no 2 days are the same. And I feel very grateful to have the opportunity to work with your children. And this job to me is so fulfilling, and most of all, it is fun. So thank you. And if you need to reach us, you can email Jim and I at any time.
Thank you. Lisa, that gave me a very good segue into a major topic for us as middle school council this year, which is fun. Fun has been something that's been a priority for Tom and for the council for a while. How to bring fun into the classroom, make school a great experience for the kids. And obviously this year brings a unique set of challenges. So Tom's going to talk a little bit more about some of the things that he started to do in the advisory program, but send us your ideas too. We need your creativity. Obviously, we're not allowed to gather kids in large groups at the moment, so we can't hold teen centers. We're not able to do anything off campus. We can't do field trips, and that's kind of a bummer. So we are trying to find ways to make up for that and bringing a little bit of silly into the advisory program and the classrooms. But if you have anything that you have heard of that your friends are using in another state or a different city, let me know. I want to copy the idea and put it into the classroom for the middle schoolers.
Absolutely.
A couple other announcements from our committees. Last night, the PTA announced that we will be doing an all-school book club read of a book called How to Raise an Adult, Break Free of the Overparenting Trap and Prepare Your Kids for Success. It's by Julie Lythcott-Hames, and November 17th is the date that has been targeted to hold a larger discussion with breakout rooms. From the Character and Community Service Group, they've been very creative in the things that they've been able to come up with for our kids, that they can remain socially distanced and be safe in COVID. Tomorrow, there is an opportunity for kids to help the Boulder Ledge Garden Club to help weed Bicentennial Park, which is the park right across the street from the school. There is a Sign Up Genius link in the agenda email that I sent out yesterday, but if anyone needs it again, let me know. Basque is up and running for middle school. I know the elementary school had to cancel their programs because there wasn't enough interest, but there are a couple clubs in middle school that do have participation. So Bronco TV, there's a STEM class. I checked this morning and registration is still open on their website. There is also registration open for Math Olympiad and music lessons, which I saw an email go out for today as well. Also, you can be on the lookout for an email coming about Teacher Appreciation Lunch, which is scheduled for October 22nd in conjunction with the elementary school. It'll be a new format. Obviously, we're not bringing in home-cooked baked goods, but we will probably be looking for people to donate towards box lunches, just to show the teachers something that we're thinking about them, that we appreciate them, and we are very grateful that they're keeping our kids in school right now. And then our apparel sale, which is usually around homecoming. That's going to be probably the week of October 19th. It's going to be an online catalog similar to last spring. And it's always my favorite opportunity to pick up Bronxville swag. And it's, you know, especially as a new family, it's a great opportunity. And I think that might be it from me. So I will hand it over to Tom.
Thank you, Emily. I really appreciate that, and I echo all the thank yous that have been given this evening by all before me, because this truly is a team effort and an endeavor that takes many minds and many thoughts and voices and lots of work. So I'm grateful, as always, to the faculty, to my fellow administrators, and also to the parents for not only for you having trust in us to provide a safe, reasonable program for your kids, but also in making sure that your kids come to school every day ready to learn and ready to do it in a safe way. It means everything to us. The number of times that we've had to remind kids to act in a safe way, or put a mask up, or what have you, just we've got fingers left on one hand. It's been great. The mask rule is a very serious one, obviously, in our school. Please do reiterate to your kids, if possible, that, and I know it is possible, that social distancing is really serious and really important for us. It is one of the reasons things are working so smoothly in the school. We want to We want to limit and curb the chances and times where kids are in close proximity. And that's hard because kids like to be close together. They like to share things. They like to be near each other. But if you can remind them at home, we will continue to also remind them at school. It's very valuable and important that they recognize that you also care that they maintain social distancing. Our new landscape is odd for all of us. I will be very honest with you and tell you that our teachers are tired. This is new. This is a very daunting proposal to shift your teaching to everybody in individual seats and everybody facing the same way and being socially distanced, and there aren't the same furniture options in rooms. We don't have big desks and large chairs, but teachers are getting used to it, and they are marshaling for tremendous strides forward. Our faculty had a meeting today where all the teachers who share rooms were able to meet together and discuss what's working, what they need to change, what they can improve. And that was a very fruitful discussion. And we were able this evening, thanks to Harakino and his crew, we've been able to make some shifts already. So I'm really pleased with the way the teachers are taking ownership of the spaces and sharing those spaces with each other. It's been really fantastic. And as Roy mentioned, it's only the 12th day, but I think some stamina will build, and we will move forward. All aspects of our school day have been really seamless. We were asked the other day how things are going, and I honestly can't think of anything that could be going much better than it's going. I'm really pleased with the overall program and the structures and paradigms. Another thank you to Rob Lancia, our security professional. He has done an outstanding job with Mr. Lassane in running drills and designating hallways and stairways for one-way use, and doing so in a way that's really helpful. And so thank you to him as well. One thing that may not occur to folks in this new landscape is the structure that has to be in place to run classes remotely. We listened very carefully to our community, and we put in place structures to run distance learning for all 3 grades, 6, 7, and 8. And in doing that, we purposefully put small groups of kids in those paradigms so that they wouldn't be alone, so that they would have others who were in remote learning as well. And what we found over August into September is the number atrophied significantly before we started the year, which means that almost all students are in the building. We only have 11 6th graders, 7 7th graders, and 8 8th graders in distance learning, in the distance learning paradigm. So that means that there are multiple classrooms in the school and the entire 6th grade in the school where classes are not Zooming. They are in person. In those instances where classes are meeting with students remotely and in person, those teachers are working with those students directly on making sure that their program is reasonable and that they are both academically and socially connected. Here's where things get hard. And I hope that you can picture and understand the complexity at the moment in our infancy at using distance learning as a tool. It's not very reasonable for kids to float in and out of distance learning. It doesn't work well. It's not really fair to the teachers or the students themselves either. It's a very difficult thing for them to jump back and forth. We do offer the ability to have students in grades 7 and 8 join distance learning if their absence is going to be prolonged. What's a prolonged absence? 3 or more days. And what else constitutes being able to work remotely? If your absence is specifically because you are waiting for COVID results or you are otherwise quarantined. To put it another way, if your absence is for the greater social good, you can join distance learning, as long as upon your child's return, there is a clear doctor's note. We think that's very reasonable. It's not reasonable to join distance learning for a day. It's not reasonable to join distance learning because your child was running around and twisted their ankle and you want them to rest it for a day. Those aren't reasons to distance learn. And we would appreciate in those instances, because kids get sick and kids have allergies and there are things that are predictable and that can preclude them from coming to school for a day. But in those instances, we would appreciate you having your child use Google Classroom and the information on those pages, plus our homework roster to keep up with class. Just randomly zooming into the class without prior authorization to do so is not helpful. So thank you in advance for understanding that. And if you feel that your child does meet that eligibility, that's why we're here. And you can certainly talk to me and let me know what the situation is. Then I, in turn, write to all the teachers and let them know to expect a child. That's very important too, because the links change. The teachers need to very frequently write to the children directly and give them additional instructions for how to get on if they are eligible to distance learn. So I appreciate your help for that. I'm going to just try and keep up with these questions. Everything is being treated as COVID. Yes, at doctor's offices it is, and that's true. So if you do go to a doctor's office, that may immediately change the conversation, and we recognize that. There are no requirements for community service in our school, in our public school. We don't mandate that. We would like students to consider doing community service across the course of the year, given, of course, that everybody's year is different. There are feast and famine periods where there's more time and less time, and everybody's family is, again, faced with different obstacles and competing needs. But a rule of thumb in a normal environment has been, if your child can do 3 hours of community service a quarter, that seems like a pretty healthy amount of community service. The difficulty is that in the current environment, there may not be 12 hours of opportunities available to them. And I fully understand that. There is no requirement though. So okay. So the next thing I wanted to talk about was the extra help period that we have. Extra help traditionally has been almost a full period every morning, and students have been able to come into the building and have enjoyed the ability to choose where they want to go, talk to any teacher they'd like to talk to. We've even had kids go to teachers they don't have in order to get a different perspective on the same material they've been studying. It's been a very, very important part of the middle school model that we use. The difficulty is in this environment, we don't want kids randomly walking into classrooms. We're trying very hard to minimize that. Yes, kids do share some classrooms, but not very often. And it is, if you were not aware, that the students are remaining in the same rooms for 4 out of the 6 periods a day that they have classes, and the teachers rotate. That's not a normal situation. So extra help isn't particularly normal either. Our extra help program is based on Zoom. It's based on being able to log in and basically ask your teacher a question or two, or get some immediate feedback to an idea or a thought or a question. It is not possible for us to have the kids randomly go in to talk to teachers. The time is the same. It's first thing in the morning, but as some parents have noted, it's difficult because they have to get to school, and then when do they do that? Well, they can do it on their phones. They can use their phones to log in. They can do that when they are at school. When the weather turns even worse, the cafeteria will be an option for kids who are waiting to come upstairs. Yes, they have to socially distance, but they can use the cafeteria space. Our cafe is open for service in the mornings as well. They can't really hang out randomly in the school, but as the weather turns, we'll look to them for more spaces in holding. But extra help is still recommended. We think it's important for students to ask questions of their teachers that they may get a little bit more of an in-depth answer, or a little bit more help than they might be comfortable asking for during a class. So we recommend that you have your kids do that. The numbers, just to let you know, the numbers in extra help are way down, and that's really not too surprising. We also understand, again, it's the 12th day of school, and it's going to take a while for kids to get used to all of the things that they have at their disposal, and extra help may be one of them. Another thing that will start tomorrow morning that students have the ability to work with is an extra time room. We have a large room that's sectioned off for the mornings, where students who either missed an exam or an in-class assessment, or need extra time and have a mandate to get extra time, can either start or finish an assignment in the extra time room. That's an in-person room that is functioning with the oversight of an adult who has all the materials that the students need to do and complete, and then that person, that aide, takes all that material back and distributes it back to the teachers after the day has started. That's a great service, and it really helps with keeping kids up to date and making sure that they, even if people are out, they have the ability to remain up to date. So we're happy that's starting again. And that's not something you need to ask for. The teacher will recommend it, and if it's necessary or if it's mandated, they will ensure that is happening. Emily made mention a few minutes ago that we are in search of fun. I will be honest with you. I really I struggle with this one a lot because I don't think I'm very fun, especially when it comes to getting in a seventh grader's mind. I need help. Things that we think are going to be uproariously fun don't always work out that way. I'm sure in your house you've never had such an experience, and everything you plan goes perfectly with your middle schoolers. But in all seriousness, we really do think that there are things that are happening out there in other places that are wildly successful, and we will steal liberally from anyone who has a good idea. So don't hesitate to let us know if you have a friend or a sibling who have children somewhere else and they've done something that's outstanding. Obviously, we're not taking any field trips this year. That's disappointing on a number of levels, of course, for our students and our faculty. We have bonding experiences with our kids that are not afforded other ways. So there's some loss there. But we also have some potentially new ideas that are coming forward and emerging that may touch on multiple goals for our social and emotional wellness and our social and civic responsibility as a school that we are in the process of vetting and researching. Specifically, the 92nd Street Y is offering programs, and two of which we think hold significant value at first, at least for 8th grade, and possibly for 7th. And one of their programs is run by a woman who is an expert in helping students turn their voice into actionable plans. How to take the passion and the interest in change and do something with it, and be an active agent for change. And the second workshop that they offer is a real dialogue on social inequity. And that functions in and factors in very nicely with both the social studies and the English curriculums at minimum. And we have some teachers that are going to audit a workshop given by the 92nd Street Y and see if we feel that would be a valuable experience for our kids. What helps us in this particular case is that these are not assemblies. We have a very bad track record with assemblies. Assemblies where we bring people in, no matter how charismatic, no matter how energetic, enthusiastic, or even fun the ideas are that they bring to us. There's a hollowness to single event activities that our kids just don't connect to. These are not single event activities. These actually have some teaching and discussion components that begin before the event, and there's follow-up afterwards. And there are varying degrees of follow-up too. So I'm guardedly optimistic that these two ideas may hold some weight. And the other things that we are working with at the moment, and thank you for the virtual field day was fun. Yes, we had a good time with that. We do want to have some fun, and we have developed a game to play across the grades and across classes, and we'd be happy to share it with you too, just so you can see the kinds of things that we're working on. We did a practice run in the other day, and it worked very well, and kids really got it. It's based on the idea of a breakout room where kids have to solve puzzles to get answers, to get clues, to solve the final puzzle. So basically, kids worked on 6 different puzzles that ended in single-digit numbers. So what was a puzzle? One of the puzzles was taking different retired Yankee player uniform numbers and perform mathematics on them. So Yogi Berra plus Mickey Mantle minus so-and-so equals what? Another one was taking the word elephant and taking the scale A equals 1, B equals 2 to Z, find what the value of elephant was, divide that by 6, multiply it by 2. What is the number? Each one of the numbers then needed to be put into order to correlate to the date of the first transatlantic telephone call. And the kids did it in I think the first group did it in 9 minutes, the 6 puzzles, and most finished within 12, which was really fantastic. So we're looking for things like that. We're looking for ways for our kids to collaborate and have a good time, and we're going to keep score. And so what did they get when they broke out of the room? Well, in the first case, it was a little bit of candy. But the council is going to help us with future prizes, silly as they may be. Even our 8th graders were really excited about playing, and were annoyed that we were moving it to advisory time because they already got the points for our first round. So they'll get over it. But the virtual field day was successful, and we are going to plan to do other things like that during the year, not only to get the kids who are learning remotely engaged and involved, but also we just think it's a good way to collaborate when we can't sit real close to each other and we can't share things the way we're used to sharing materials and supplies. So we're not going to wait for May to do that. We're going to work on that across the course of the year. The teachers have had to rethink supplies and materials, and they continue to do so. Book bags, amazingly, are still too heavy. There's still too much stuff in them. They need to have less things being brought back and forth to school. I really think we can get away with having one binder right now and a Chromebook. And Chromebooks are non-negotiable. They have to have their Chromebooks with them every day. It is just as important to have a Chromebook as it is to have shoes. They cannot do the work that they are there to do if they don't have their Chromebook charged and ready to go. If they come to school without the Chromebook, we do have some to loan for the day, but when it's the same kids borrowing the Chromebooks every day, it's a bigger issue, and we want you to be aware of that and help your kids to become vigilant about charging them at night and bringing them to school each day. They are essential tools for success now. And while the year is young, please help them factor in that habit because it makes a big difference. There are textbooks given out in some cases, but those textbooks are supposed to be kept at home. If your child's bringing or transporting textbook back and forth, call them on it, and then call me on it, because they're not supposed to be doing that. They're supposed to leave their textbooks at home. In some cases, our teachers have been able to get online subscriptions, so it's a virtual textbook or an e-book, which they have their pluses and minuses, but one big plus is that they don't weigh anything. So we're happy to have them when we can get them. The math department is poised to send out some notifications about upcoming needs for different materials. Whether it be in case of algebra, they may need a calculator. They don't. We can provide them, but if you want to get your own, that's just great, because they're going to need the same one through high school. Mr. Mitchell specifically will give you the specifics on what model and how it connects to and engages with all the other calculators being used in the room, including the teachers. They are programmable, but they speak to each other. What else is going on? Jim and Lisa, is there anything I'm forgetting? You can just shake your head or tell me what I'm forgetting, either way.
Lunchtime has been a big success.
Say more.
Oh. The students have been out on the front lawn, socially distanced. Those that eat in the cafeteria have been socially distanced, and it's been working out really well. When it rains, we have the blue gym and the cafeteria. So the other day, when it started to rain, the kids came in and they were all set up in the blue gym. We have markers on the seats so they know where to sit, and fingers crossed, all has been really good so far.
And the students, go ahead, Tom.
I'm working uptown almost every day, and our kids are acting really responsibly uptown. We do have one issue that we haven't solved yet, and that is there's more bumping into high school kids than we've known. And that's caused some problems, but we think that might settle down here as the high school is looking at changing their times or expanding their times in school. But that's been an unanticipated issue that we're still working through, but with success. It's been good uptown. Sorry, Jim.
No, that's okay. The other thing that's been working really well is the new NutriSlice app in the cafe. Plenty of students are ordering, particularly on the days when the weather thought it might rain or whatever. The food is all laid out when they arrive with a big ticket on top with their name in large print. And the food is hot and ready to go. And the kids, I walk around every day, they've been really happy with the selections. So we encourage you to use that even more. There's no line for them to stand on. They pick up their food, they're eating within 30 seconds of arriving in the cafeteria.
Thank you. The issue of cell phones is a perennial topic that we don't have a solid forever plan for regarding their use or rules regarding the rules kind of change over time, depending specifically on how the culture of the school is evolving and changing. It was very easy when I started in the middle school to imagine having no phones. That was 9 years ago, amazingly. phones are not something that I think our community really should be concerned about making more precious than they are. And let me explain what I mean by that. I think we would be doing a tremendous disservice to our kids if we made phones into these objects of wonder and stealth and sneakiness. I think that the fact that most kids, not all, it's not a requirement to have a phone, but the fact that most kids have them is something that's not going to change. Many parents use the phone for personal safety and security. There are many parents, both parents are working. They want to know where their child is. They want to be able to talk to them immediately after school. We respect that. Having phones when kids are uptown is only an enhancement of safety. In the school, kids are generally not using the phones for the phone purpose or the texting purpose, but they have games on their phones and things to de-stress. And Ms. DeSanto and the crew that she works with in the cafeteria are very aware of what kids are doing on their phones on a regular basis. And for some kids, that's a very good reset to be able to not touch their phones when they are back in school, back in classes. I really strongly believe that our kids, having not had a school where phones are some sacred weird object that are shunned or otherwise made into little illegal illicit objects, helps them in the long run to understand the difference between being able to use their phone and when they're not supposed to use their phone. The number of kids who break the rules and the phone goes off in the classroom, I mean, maybe it happens, 3 or 4 times a year. It's not something that we deal with on a regular basis. I also believe strongly that the kind of build that has for our kids means that when they even get to college, they will be in a position where they don't have the relationship with their phone that many of their peers will have, and they will understand the difference between being at work and not at work. And I dare say that many adults could use the same division, but just pretending they don't exist and that we relegate them or put them in plastic bags or whatever, infrared bags. I just don't think that you should want that. We don't have a statistically negligible number of misuses of cell phones in school. Horrendous issues with phones we have not had in school at all. Our kids are really, for the most part, very responsible with their devices, and we think that in the second fifth of the 20th century, that's one of the 21st century, that's one of the things we should be helping our kids to learn to be is socially aware of their phones, understanding their footprint, and understanding how their phones can be used for positive and for negative things. And they have a responsibility to work with us, and they do get that education every year, regardless of what grade they're in. That is part of not only our computer education program, but also it happens in advisory as well as in other classes too, where phone conversations come up. But that curriculum is covered. So yes, the long answer to the real short question is they can bring their phones. They're not supposed to be on in classrooms. They're not supposed to be on or visible in hallways. And that's a really important distinction. I don't want kids walking down the hall with their nose in their phone. You should be present in your own reality. And you should be available to engage with other people as you walk. Not only the safety of walking, but the social connection that you get when you walk by Mr. Agnello and he says good morning. If you're looking down because you're talking about the Yankee game with your thumbs, you are not respecting others around you. And that's another component of what we're trying to help kids understand about phone use. And again, it's something I know that adults have problems with, but our kids are going to be much better at using technology than we are, or even people younger than us are, because it's not the Wild West now. We know what the issues are with phones. We know what the potential downfalls are with technology, and giving kids the tools and the education they need to function well is what we're here to do. And so far, we have really been very proud of our kids, and we hope that you are too, because they by and large do a really good job with each other with those things. Emily, I can ramble on, but I don't think anybody really needs that. I think that was probably enough for one meeting. I would just suggest, before I do stop bothering all of you, if you're not getting the weekly bulletin that we send home, generally Sunday nights, this week it came home Monday night because that was really kind of our Sunday this week. But if you're not getting those bulletins from our office, you need to let me know or Emily know so that we can make sure that you are on the list. We don't want anybody to be left off. We understand that it may not be scintillating reading, but we do also want you to know what's happening and to be counted. And so do let us know if that hasn't gotten to you. Emily, thank you.
Thanks so much, Tom. And the same goes for Membership Toolkit. The parents out there, please go on to Membership Toolkit. Make sure your information is correct so that you continue getting communications from the middle school council and all the other councils and PTA related committees. Some really important information comes out around Memorial Day and homecoming, and would hate for anyone to miss any messages like that. So with that, thank you everyone for spending an hour of your evening with us. Send any ideas my way. I'm super available so just drop me a line, let me know what you're thinking, and we will have a great year together. Thanks.